Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dreadcast. I am your host, Dreadnought. With me as always, the hardest working man on Friday nights, Jovia. On tonight's episode, we discuss the possibility of Sony and Microsoft working together. No. Let's not leave Nintendo out, because somebody just got a Switch. Plus, Dragon's Dogma and some WoW chat. And of course, our weekly anime update. Episode 20 starts right now. How much, man? What's new in the Jovia house this week?
There's not really all that much new in the Jovia house this week.
It sounds like my house.
Actually, no. I do have something new. Actually, I bought a Switch.
What?
I know.
Switchblade?
Yeah. I mean, if you filed it down, sure. Like in a prison.
You can take a Switchblade with you.
No, I bought a Nintendo Switch.
What?
I know. I never thought I'd actually.
All right,
pick one
probably
mainly because the Wii and the Wii U were both shit.
Right, you have both.
Yeah. I had the Wii, and I had a Wii U. Yeah, I had a Wii U. It was like the first one where like you could. It had the touch screen controller on it.
Right.
And I bought that mainly because of Monster Hunter Generations that came out.
Okay, yeah.
Or Monster Hunter. Whatever it was. Whichever Monster Hunter it was that came out, it was only on the Wii U, I guess.
Right.
And that was literally like the only game I enjoyed on the Wii U.
Is that
and
the first?
The Wii, there was only like a couple of games that we played. Like we got into the whole Wii Fit thing before.
Oh, yeah.
It was really kind of super repetitive, and it kept telling me that I was a fat ass.
Why it disses you when you're doing crappy or what?
Oh yeah. No, when you first start up the Wii Fit, if you were overweight at all, and I know I'm overweight, right? But you stand on the Wii Fit, you stood on this Wii Fit thing, right? And it'll weigh you, and then you tell it how tall you are and everything. And then the next thing I hear, this is the first time I'd ever picked up this game, right? And it's not even really a game, but the first thing I hear from the game is, "You're obese." And I'm like,
"Thank you, sir."
I'm like, "Really? What?" But it said it in like this super cute voice. It's like, "You're obese."
So it made it all better.
I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, are you shitting me? I just bought this.
I would have beat the shit out of that game.
Right, and it tells my wife the same thing. I'm like, I guess we got a little bit of work that we got to do, and I didn't lose. And we did it like for like a month. We did it religiously. Like we had both the pads. We did it together. Yeah. We didn't lose a single freaking pound.
Was it fun at all or no? Like a chore.
Really.
No funner than going for a walk or something like.
No, I'd rather go. Yeah, I'd rather go for a run around my neighborhood in sweltering heat in Miami. I really would.
At least you don't have people calling you a piece when you're going for a run.
Right.
Not that you can hear anyways.
Yeah. So I didn't really like the Wii.
Right.
I mean, there were a couple of party games on the Wii that were fun if you had like 4 people and everything, but then you had to buy all the accessories.
Oh
It was
yeah,
just nuts.
I bet.
So, as for like serious gaming, the Wii kind of sucked. Monster Hunter was probably the best thing that ever happened to the Wii U, and so I held off on buying a Switch for like 2 years. But you know, because I was never into Zelda.
Holy
What's
shit!
that?
It's been out for that long?
Yeah, it's been out for 2 years.
Shit.
I know, right? I know. It doesn't feel like it's been out that long. But okay, so this what makes the Switch different for me is that after I really started looking at it, there are some serious freaking games on the Switch. Like there's Zelda, which I never looked seriously at until I had actually already decided to get a Switch.
But it's pretty intense. Good ratings. Looks good.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, if you consider like 10 out of 10 on most most,
yeah, it's okay. Not too shabby.
No, but I mean, even like the pandering reviewers out there,
right?
Don't give perfect scores,
right?
So,
but they gave it to that one,
yeah. So that and another game that I'm actually playing that we'll talk about a little later is Dragon's Dogma. That actually just hit the Switch, which actually brought the Switch up on my radar again.
Right.
I'm like, seriously, Dragon's Dogma is on Switch now? They've got Skyrim on Switch, which actually runs really well.
I love how Skyrim is in the conversation. 2019.
Skyrim's everywhere.
Oh shit.
My Time at Portia, Stardew Valley, nice. Into the Breach, a whole bunch of these games, and I started thinking, you know, there are a bunch of games on the Switch, like Diablo 3, where I just want to sit down for like, if I've got 10 free minutes, crank up the Switch,
on the
grind
toilet
a little bit, put it back down, like in between meetings or something, right?
Yeah.
And then and just pick it back up later, right?
Yep.
As opposed to going through all the menu screens and everything.
Yeah.
The Switch, you can just get in and play.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it earlier this week, and I bought Zelda for it, and a couple of games to play with my wife. Which that's another thing we had talked on a Dreadcast. I don't know, several weeks ago about co-op, like multiplayer.
Lack of couch co-op games.
The Switch is freaking made for this, man.
For sure.
So my wife is totally into it now, and we've got a couple of games that we've been playing together, like Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid because, I mean, but we're having fun with it.
Yeah,
and
cool.
I've been playing Zelda on it, which is absolutely. It's not the Zelda that I remember from childhood. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's a badass game.
Nice.
And I haven't started Dragon's Dogma on it, but I intend to, so that I don't like mess up the playthrough I'm doing on the stream. So
right.
Yeah. So I'm. That's what's new in the Jovia house.
Okay, a couple questions.
Sure.
Did you buy Pro controllers, or are you guys sharing Joy-Cons, or what?
Well, it came with the Joy-Cons, right?
Okay.
And I bought a Pro controller.
Okay, just one, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the controller layout that I'm way more used to.
Right, and that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The Joy-Cons are really good for certain games, but
just not used to it, right?
Yeah, when I'm playing a more serious game like Zelda is a good example. Like I don't know, I'm not used to that whole, like the joystick, the right hand joystick is exactly below like the ABXY buttons,
right?
And my muscle memory just doesn't work that way.
It just sounds awkward.
I'm having a hard enough time because Nintendo always wants to be different. I'm having a hard enough time with the A and B buttons being backwards on that, as opposed to like the Xbox or the PlayStation. I find myself exiting out of more menus.
Oh, so the cancel and the go ahead are kind of swapped.
They are swapped.
Gotcha.
Yeah, on most games. So like Zelda, I swear to God, I have exited out of so many menus. Like it's annoying. It's even annoying me. Wife's like, you just got in that menu. Why did you just cancel out of it? I'm like,
I didn't. The controller did it.
I'm like, look, you don't understand.
My gaming fingers are used to it a certain way.
Yeah. She's like, just press A. That's what it's telling you on the screen. I'm like, sweetie, this is not where the A button belongs, okay?
My fingers can't read. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, That would be the only thing that I would submit as like, I don't know, constructive criticism or what have you.
Yeah.
Like on the system level itself, you should be able to say, okay, well, A is the confirm button,
Right,
or,
right.
You know, B is the confirm button, or whatever.
And so, like the A button, though, the confirm button is at the very bottom, like what kind of in that bottom spot.
The A is where the B button would be on an Xbox controller.
Right.
So it's like backwards. I don't know. It's totally a localization thing. I know that.
Yeah. But like you said, once you're used to it one way, it's hard to swap, right? Your mind is just so used to it.
Right. Because the PlayStation and the Xbox are basically opposite.
Right.
So, I don't know. And the X and Y buttons are opposite as well. So that's not helping. It's not helping. Like in Zelda, thankfully the game is slow enough to where I can actually think about what button presses I need to do to like just... It's something as simple as just swinging your sword or weapon or whatever. Right. I literally do have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because of the button layout. But
what about the options itself in Zelda? Maybe not on a system wide, but can you at least swap them in Zelda? Or
you can, but only for the jump button.
Oh, okay.
Like the jump was originally the X button, which is actually the top button. It's where the Y button would be on a Xbox controller. Right. And I couldn't stand it anymore. Couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. So I swapped it with the B button, which is the bottom button on the controllers. So, yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. So having a pro controller allows me to actually think about which buttons and where those buttons are without looking down.
Right.
Playing with the Joy-Cons, then I have a muscle memory issue there. I mean, I'm sure it'll go away after some playtime, but I mean, right now,
well, you just got it, right? So
yeah, let me enjoy the console a little bit.
So when you play couch co-op, who gets the pro controller? Or the games mostly have you split up the Joy-Cons at that point?
Well, my wife, we don't really. Well, it depends on the game.
Yeah.
We got a game called Snip and Clip. Which,
Snipper Clippers. That one looks good.
Snipper Clippers. Oh, this is so cool. It's such a good game. So you just use one Joy-Con each person.
Right. That was pretty simple.
For those that are not familiar, the Joy-Cons are the things on the side of the Switch. See, those can actually be transformed into singular controllers each.
Those tiny remote control looking thingies.
They're tiny. But if it came like when we were playing Tetris, I put the Joy-Cons in that little controller holder thing for my wife.
Okay,
and she was fine with that. And
so at least it's got the holder. It kind of seems like somewhat of a controller, right?
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. So next purchase for that will probably be a travel kit because I do travel for work every now and then. So that was another thing that brought me to the Switch. Right. It's like, hey man, if I wanted to do like one of those grinding Binding of Isaac or something like that, I could take it on the Switch.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah.
I mean, obviously the main reason you buy a Switch is because it's an awesome toilet console. Like,
that's right. Yeah, you can watch Hulu. On the toilet if you wanted to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing they need for the Switch. Actually, is some more apps like video apps.
Yeah, they have Netflix, YouTube.
They have YouTube and they have Hulu, but that's it.
Okay, no Netflix yet.
Yeah, YouTube and Hulu, no Netflix.
Okay, I'm sure they'll get it though.
I mean, it's been out for 2 years.
I was gonna say, then again, it's been 2 years and they haven't got. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's been out for 2 years.
Netflix is like everywhere.
I mean, but it's a true gaming console. I mean, it doesn't have any of the crap that like the Wii or the Wii U had.
Right.
Doesn't have like the marching Mii's on it like the Wii had. I mean, it's like a lot of that bloat is gone.
Yeah,
it's all about games.
That's cool,
which is
man.
Cool. I'm down with that.
That's cool. I'd like to have a Nintendo system that I can start stocking up on like NES and SNES games and kind of playing those kind of games again.
Yeah. Well, so if you have a Nintendo Online account, which if you have Twitch Prime through Amazon Prime, you can actually sign up now and get like a year of Nintendo Online free.
Right.
Which is kind of like PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live. So if you got that, then you can actually play pretty much any Nintendo game that you would ever heard of.
Yeah.
Like Super Mario Brothers, like the original.
Yep.
Super Mario 2, number 3.
They have like a rotating catalog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about the rotating part because I've only had it like a week, but
Right.
yeah, they have a ton of like old school like Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's cool.
If you wanted to play them, so yeah, pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I'd definitely check it out. And the graphics on it are actually pretty good. They're not great, but they're pretty damn good. I mean, for a handheld controller, for a handheld device that's primarily supposed to be mobile. I mean, think about it, man. You're playing Skyrim on this fucking thing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Just the ability to do that. I have not purchased Skyrim for mine, but the ability to take it with you is actually pretty dope.
Yeah.
There
was rumors they were talking about bringing out like a cheaper version that was maybe handheld only.
I had heard that. I heard there's some rumors about a new Switch.
Right, like a new SKU. There's they were talking about like either a cheaper one that's handheld only, or a more expensive one that's got like, different features in it.
Yeah, like a Switch Pro. I wouldn't be surprised if they did both, to be honest.
See, I would love one that's docking only, because I really want one, because I want my kids to be able to play like Mario's and those type of games instead of like, the stuff I have on PS4 and computer.
Yeah.
But because I want them to experience all those kind of like fun genres and stuff that I played when I was growing up, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, I know the docking thing now. It's like my son's DS is like in real rough shape. I mean, his iPad is destroyed. We gave him like a used phone and it's destroyed. It's like, I wouldn't want him to have this thing here because he's just kind of clumsy and it would be broken. So it's like if they came out with a dock only version, I'd be okay with that because he'd still get to play it. Then I don't have to worry about it being kind of unattached, right?
Well, I mean, you could always dock it and put some big zip ties around it.
Oh yeah, I mean, just not even like not even let him know that it comes out. Like,
yeah,
no, it's just a normal console. I mean, he doesn't need to know it comes out into a handheld,
right?
So,
I will say I'm glad I bought this. I'm actually glad I bought it now as opposed to release, because if I had bought it at release, I probably would have been like, okay, Zelda's like the only thing on this console that I would want to play.
Now there's a bunch of stuff, yeah.
But now there's a bunch of stuff, and there's a bunch of stuff still coming out. Like, I mean, if you look at the game announcements for either porting to Switch or coming to Switch in 2019, there's a hefty amount of games coming out like every week for the rest of the year. And rumors of others. So
yeah, well,
like big AAA games too. Like
let's talk about one of those games, Mario Maker 2.
Yeah, see, that's because I've been out of the Nintendo sort of world. I don't know much about Maker 2 or even Super Mario Maker.
Okay,
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just haven't looked into it because I'm trying to do the Nintendo thing without diving into Mario. But I know that I will. Like Mario.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mario Maker, it's like, I think it came out first on the Wii, right? If I'm not mistaken. But like I said, I haven't a Nintendo system in years. I mean, so I don't know, but yeah, it's like you can just literally like play the game, and it's got like a bunch of levels that you can go through, and they're either in the style of like Mario 1, Mario 3, Super Mario World, or like Super Mario Wii version, like kind of like the newer updated graphic version.
Right.
And it puts in like all the kind of features from different of these games, and like, so you'll have like the tail from 3, or you'll have like the backgrounds and stuff from part 1, and they just incorporate all the different ones into like these levels. And so like I watched videos, and I really like the way it looks, and the thought of like, making your own Mario levels. When you were a kid playing Mario 1 and 3, it's like the thought of being able to make your own levels just seems so cool, right? So so I got it for my son's DS, and it's really cool. Like, there's just a whole bunch of stuff you can do.
That's cool. When
you're making a level, like, you just go in and you tap like, okay, I'm gonna make an underground level, and okay, I'm gonna make it Mario 1, so all the graphics look like Mario 1. You put all your tiles down, you put in like a Bowser, and it's got this real smart feature where if you grab a mushroom and you put it on top of Bowser and let go, then all of a sudden he becomes big. Or you grab a set of wings and you put it on top of Bowser, and all of a sudden now he flies.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all those cool features where you put a block down, you put something inside it, and all of a sudden, when you hit the block, it's got that inside it. Like all those cool features, yeah.
That's awesome.
And then you go tap a button, and all the level that you've made, it goes from Mario 1 to, like, Mario 3 graphics. Like, it just converts it over, like, at a tap of a button. Like, it's really cool.
Yes. So it's like a big templated sort of level maker.
Yeah, and people are going online and, like, making these super intense, hard levels, and you can't post it online unless you've been able to beat it once. I don't think that's how it is, or something like that. Anyways.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, if you make a level that's unbeatable, of course you can't post it online. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Okay.
So people are making, like, these intense levels that are, like, just god-awful to beat, that are just, like, you go into a secret room, and if you go in the wrong doorway, it's just, like, nothing but spikes and, like, death, right? Like, it's that you have to play 100 times before you can figure out the right way.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, like, when these levels become a game in and of themselves.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
They've announced Mario Maker 2, and this past week they did Nintendo did, like, a live, reveal, and they were showing off some of the features for Part 2, and now you can do co-op, so, like, up to 4 people can play at the exact same time, so you can imagine playing, like, Mario 3 or Mario 1 levels, but with 4 people.
Oh, that would be wild.
So it's pretty crazy, so you can have it so, like, as long as one person reaches the goal, you win, and they interact with each other, so you can jump on each other's head, and so you can incorporate all your levels to deal with that kind of interaction.
Yeah.
Now they've added, like, a new styles. They've added, like, the 3D world type stuff, where you've got, like, bullet bills and stuff coming at the screen, and just all kinds of stuff like that. They added, like, slopes. Now you can use those slopes where you can go down the hills. Just a lot of cool new features, and it just looks really good. It just makes me want to make as good as the one was on DS. Like, it really makes me want to buy a Switch, and, like, to have this thing on the big screens because it looks so cool.
Wow, that's actually pretty high praise.
Like, and I'm sure if you go to watch the video, it does it way more justice than me just, like, rattling off a couple things I can remember. But it looked pretty damn cool. Need to look at
it. It sounds good. I mean, Mario. Obviously, Mario is like, I mean, that's the game that got a lot of people into gaming. So
right.
Any of the Marios. So to be able to make your own levels easily and then publish it or download from other people, that's pretty cool. That's awesome.
I know, it's crazy. Like, you think of Nintendo, it's like on his DS, like, you put up his DS and it's like you look down the list of his games he's got, like the icons, and it's like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Mario Maker, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf. It's like,
oh my gosh.
It's like, and it's like these aren't like low budget, like, crappy games. Like, there's just so many, like, top tier Mario games that are out for Nintendo systems that it's just it's hard to have a Nintendo system and not have at least 1 or 2 good Mario games, right?
Oh yeah, no, like, I mean you have to have a good Mario game on a Nintendo platform, otherwise that Nintendo platform has failed.
Right? It's like, why are you buying a Nintendo system if I'm sure there's people in there that are not into Mario, but it's just they're normally such solid experiences that at least one of them caters to you, whether it's the Mario Kart or the Smash Brothers or something.
Well, I mean, there's always the standouts, right? I mean, there's some good ones and some bad ones. Like, I would point at Mario 64. Super Mario 64 is like a true classic because it was the first one in 3D.
Right.
Mario Galaxies was pretty cool. I think that was on the Wii because it was I don't know. That was sort of a mind bender because you'd be on these little planets and you'd be upside down or sideways. Oh, yeah. Your controls still work the way that they were supposed to work, but like sometimes you working through what your controls were actually doing and translating that on the screen was tough. It was fun. And this, I think on the Switch, Mario Odyssey, everybody really likes. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I heard great things about that one.
Yeah, I've heard really good things too, and some of the gameplay looks pretty damn interesting. So, I mean, I can almost guarantee I'll pick it at some point. I want to kind of get through Zelda first. I don't want to flood it with a whole bunch of new games and not do
Zelda, man. That Zelda's a big game too.
Yeah. Yes, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, that's Zelda's wild because you start out and you've got this huge map, like just right from the beginning.
Right.
You've got this huge map, and then you figure out that map is only one tiny part of the actual map. Like, you don't realize that at first because the map screen is zoomed in just enough to where you see this one region.
Okay.
And then you as you progress a little bit, you realize, oh, okay, this is just like Tutorial Island. I have a long ways to go to where I need to be, but it sort of sends you out there, and it's definitely an epic sort of traversal experience. But it is interesting, like things that you think should work in the game, like in real life, actually translate to those things would work in the game. So it's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. I don't want to say too much about it because I'm trying to figure out if I want to actually stream it at some point or not. I might not, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it. Although I'm probably the last person that's ever played it.
That's played it next to me,
Yeah.
How is the streaming on there? Like, is it just HDMI out, no problems? Like, just easy.
Just HDMI out, and I got my capture card. So
cool.
Same way I do the PlayStation, I would probably use with the Switch. We'll see.
I should have kept my capture card.
Yeah. Well, if you're a streamer, you kind of should have one. If you can do anything with a console.
Because I really want to stream Borderlands 3 when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to do it on the PlayStation, because that's where I already have it pre-ordered.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, capture cards, they're not that expensive. You can
like it's not that they're expensive. It's just I couldn't, the way I had mine before. It was I don't know. It was weird.
I mean, you got your microphone at a CVS. You could probably find some weird and wacky place to find a capture card.
CVS? What are you talking about?
Didn't you get your microphone at a CVS?
What's a CVS?
CVS, like the drugstore.
Okay, well, I was going to say, what the frick is a CVS, man? Is that what you guys call it down there?
Well, it's actually called CVS.
Okay, never heard of it. That's what I was like. What are you talking about, man? Yes, I got it at a drugstore, but what is a CVS?
Where'd you get your microphone?
That sounds like an STD or something.
Where'd you get it, then?
I got it at a drugstore, but it's called Shoppers Drug Mart.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Canada, man. What the hell is CVS?
And you actually said CVS.
No, man. What is that? Yeah. What's it stand for?
Maybe it's a brand. It says like Walgreens or.
Doesn't stand for anything.
I'm sure that it does.
At some point. But you guys just call it CVS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's what's on the sign. It says CVS.
We don't have those up here. But yes, I did get it from a drugstore. Yes.
Yeah. See. So my point being, go back to that same drugstore. Maybe you can find a capture card or something.
I go over to that section sometimes when I'm there and see what they have because I was so surprised that they had the microphone there on sale that time.
Yeah.
And they've got switches and video games and switches and phones and.
Are you sure this isn't just like a general store in your tiny town there in Canada?
right up the street, man. Shoppers Drug Mart. You go there and you pick up your prescriptions and it's like all that kind of stuff.
And your streaming equipment.
Yeah, man. Over in the corner, there's like the smallest of small electronic sections, and it's like behind a glass case, they have 20 Switch games, 20 PS4 games, 20 Xbox games, a couple microphones, a Rebel camera.
It's right next to the feed and seed section, right?
Yeah, and then right next to that is the fridge area where the milk and eggs are.
Of course.
Post office, and then right next to the part where you send your mail out is the where you go pick up your prescriptions. So all one convenient place.
It is. That's a general store, man.
But it almost is because they have this very small selection of food items. But you go buy a loaf of bread there, and it's like $7. Where you walk across the parking lot to an actual grocery store, and it's like $1.99, right?
Yeah. The markup on the bread is insane. Yeah.
And figure, if you're coming here for your drugs and you're dying for a loaf of bread, here, pay $8. It's like, no.
If your prescription says must take with white bread.
Yeah, not for an empty stomach. Yeah, must be taken with white bread.
Oh my god, I learned something new about Canada every single time.
Hey, don't act like your drugstores don't have streaming equipment.
Well, they don't have streaming equipment. I can tell you that much. I mean, I mean, we have drugstores that sell just about everything, right? But the electronics section at our drugstores would probably, here in America, they have these crappy toys.
Pair of headphones.
Yeah, but not good headphones. They're
Skull Candy ones.
I wouldn't say Skull Candy is maybe on the high end.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You might find some Skull Candy stuff there, but it's... Yeah, no, these are like these are headphones that are literally branded like headphones,
Yeah. Stereo
for those
headphones.
people on a road trip, the road trip where
get their kids to be quiet in the back, yeah.
Right, yeah. That's what you're gonna find at our drugstores.
That's fun.
So what have you been up to this week? What have you been playing?
Oh man, I'm back in. I kind of got a bit of an itch to go back into WoW again. I was on there a few nights ago, and I jumped into my DK, and I was like, oh, you know what? Because I normally would jump on, I'd pop out my Blingtron that I told you about before.
Right.
He gives me that quest once a day, and you open up the present he gives you, and you get a chance to get him out. So like, I honestly got my account back, thinking, oh, I'm gonna play again. But honestly, all I do every single day is jump on this guy, open up my Blingtron, check for my mount, log out. Oh, yeah, it's just what a waste. But a couple nights ago, I jumped on him, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back to the area I was questing in, and just start questing. And man, I spent a good hour in there. I'm like, you know what? Cool. It's just, I try all these other MMOs, or like when I see another MMO come out and I try it, I'm like, it's not that good. It's not that crisp. The movement's not good. The graphics, blah, blah, blah. It just always makes me want to go back to WoW. And then when I'm in WoW, I'm like, I don't know, maybe because I've had it for so long, or I just take it for granted, like how good it is. So
it's old.
Yeah, it's old, but
I mean, no, it's like old to you, right? It's like
it is, but it's like, but when I get back there and like I said, I went back to the area I was actually questing instead of just chilling in town, and I'm out doing quests and like killing stuff, and it's like, tapping my buttons and just seeing how all the animations work and the sound, and just everything feels so good. It's like, man, I just got back into playing it, and I played it for a few hours, and now I was gonna let my sub run out, but I think I might renew and just try and get my character up to max level. So
cool. No, that's good. I mean, I don't know. So, that was one of the things that kind of stopped me from continuing in WoW. Is that every time you go. I'm an Alliance guy.
Me too, yeah.
So every time I would get into WoW or start a new character, this is old school, right? This is before you could just be level 60 at the drop of a hat.
Right.
All of the quests and all of the story, everything was always the same. It was like always the same. So I don't know. I just got burned out. Back in the day. Probably still like that.
Once you get up though, once you get up in the bit of the higher levels, because like you said, it's pretty easy to fly through the lower levels these days. Yeah. Now they have level scaling, so once you're done level 10, your starting zone, which kind of teaches you a few things.
Yep.
Then it kind of opens up, and now you can go to instead of going to the very next zone, now you can go to almost any of 20 zones, and it scales to you, right? And then when you get to level 60, then you can go to instead of going to the Burning Crusade, if you don't like it, you can go to Northrend, which was the Wrath of the Lich King expansion.
Right.
So it kind of gives you multiple avenues to level up, and it's so quick anyways, getting up to 80, 90. But then once you start getting up into the later expansions, the story and the quest objectives, they all start getting a lot more, they just put in a lot more work into that stuff than they used to.
Okay.
So your stories will be a lot more involved, and you'll have voice work, and things will be just a lot better when it comes to storytelling than it was back when you played vanilla, right?
So literally what I just heard was 20 hours later the game gets good.
Yeah, just like every game. You know, you blast through the opening thing, and when you get to end game, it's awesome.
So, well, okay. So when I played, like, you'd hit level 10, and then the game would push you on to the next area,
Right?
which
Westfall.
is usually like a neighboring
Westfall.
section.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but so now you're saying that they have level scaling. I could go anywhere that I wanted to. Is that a good thing, though? I don't know if that's a good thing. I know most of the regions, from what I recall, they sort of have their own standalone areas,
right?
Or
For
standalone
sure.
stories, with the centralized quest givers and all that stuff. And you might find a couple things along the way. Is that yeah, I don't know. If I were a brand new person coming into WoW, is that a good thing?
If you were a brand new person coming into WoW, I don't think that would matter as much. I'm the way I think about it is, I think that's more catered to like me or somebody who's starting their
Veterans.
15th or 20th or third or fourth character, instead of going through like Elwyn Forest to 10, Westfall till 18, and then somewhere else, blah blah blah. When you're a new character, you don't care because you don't know those places. You aren't bored of those places, right? But when
That's true.
When you started your 12th Alliance tune, and you know you've already made 3 humans, and that's this human starting zone. Now, once you're done your starting zone, you can go to Tristfall Glades, or you can go to Stone Talon Mountain. You know what I mean? You can just you don't have to stick to the same stuff. So for new players, it's great. Or sorry, for old players, it's great. But for new players, it's no big deal. They can just go with the way they normally would. It wouldn't matter. So they'll still get pushed to those zones that they would normally.
Okay.
But,
So they didn't really change the progression of the quests.
No, like I think your quest would still lead you to that next zone.
Yeah,
but
there's
now
usually that one quest that says,
right.
"Yeah, you've done everything here. I've heard they need a hero."
Right, exactly. Over in Westfall,
town.
head over there. Right.
Right.
But now there's also like a hero board, like a quest board that's in game, where if you click on it, it'll kind of say, "Hey, maybe you should go here next for your quest." So it kind of gives you, and it probably gives you like a couple options. So like when you get to like level 10, you've leveled all the stuff there and all the quests are done. It's like, oh, go to Westfall, and you can open up that thing, and it's probably like, oh, and it recommends probably like a zone or so for you to go to, right? So
yeah, cool.
Plus, honestly, these days, when anybody in the world hits level 15. They just queue up for dungeons, and they just sit in Stormwind, and they just queue up for dungeons and run dungeons nonstop. Especially if you're a tank or a healer, because you get instant queues if you're a tank, right?
Normally, because nobody wants to tank.
Right. So normally for your DPS, you have to wait like who knows, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. So you're better off just going and questing.
Yeah.
But if you're a tank, you honestly get in like instantly. So once you hit level 15, which is the kind of like the minimum required level for dungeons, you just spam. You put on your heirlooms. You spam dungeons, and man, before you know it, you'll be max level.
See, I don't know why people don't like playing tanks. I enjoy playing tanks. If my goal with that tune is to actually run dungeons or whatever, I like playing tank because or a healer. Because I feel like there's a finesse there, but especially tanking. Tanking requires some freaking finesse sometimes.
Yeah, you got to control the mobs. You got to turn the boss the right way. I mean,
right? Yeah. I was a tank. In Final Fantasy 14, and I loved it, dude. I loved it.
I love playing tank all the way up to current content because I know my way around all those dungeons leading up to it. But if I were to go in a newer dungeon, I don't know my way around, then I kind of feel bad because I'm not really sure where to go, or I don't know the mechanics of the bosses because they get a little more complicated as you level up.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to learn. Like you have to be a really good tank. You have to know the boss. Right,
for sure. Or else you're gonna go in there and it's like you're gonna have the boss facing the same way as the DPS and the healer. And he goes to do an AoE, and your healer's just like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So, for sure.
Yeah, that's...
Well, before we switch gears, though, speaking of WoW, they released the WoW Classic Beta this week.
Did they really?
So they're sending out invites. Yeah, if you you just go onto if you got a current WoW sub, you just go onto your account and just go to the beta section and click on that check mark for Classic, and you could get a invite.
Pre Cataclysm, I guess. Pre whatever.
Pre everything. Pre Burning Crusade, like vanilla.
Are they doing like a progression? Like I'm thinking old EverQuest, right? Are they doing like progression where they open up those expansions over time? Like after
I don't know. I don't think so. No, because I mean they're just going to get to the same problem as they are now, right? As far as I know, this is just I know. As far as I know, this is just like vanilla. You get 1 to 60, and that's it. I mean, I'm pretty sure. And you know what? I was reading an article today, and they're like, oh, some of the bugs you're facing in the game are as intended. So it's like, I don't know if they're just covering their tracks and saying, the bugs that you're finding in game are supposed to be like that. But they were naming a couple that's saying, hey, that's how it was when you first leveled up from 1 to 60, and that's kind of how we have it now. So
that's probably accurate, because I know the expansions, that they weren't just expansions; they were huge patches. Everybody.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's just weird because you watch people like streaming the classic version now a lot, and they all have like the old looking UI, and it's like nobody's using like any of the modded ones that you see now, and the maps don't have any quest objectives on them, and it's just little dots, like there's no telling you where to go. It's like, remember like we were talking about before with Quest Helper, there's none of that stuff now. It's all gone back to like reading your quest and stuff, and
you actually have to figure it out.
Yeah. So
welcome back to how WoW used to be.
Yeah. So I haven't heard anything. I don't know if people are enjoying it or not, but I know it just opened up this week, so I gotta check out and see if people are actually enjoying it. Or
that reminds me a lot about EverQuest. I mean, WoW was designed basically. It wasn't a clone of EverQuest, but it definitely took a lot of
took some stuff from it.
Yeah. So like Sony, a long time years ago, they started releasing what they called progression servers, which was like, okay, we're gonna do EverQuest, right? No expansions, and then after a month, like every month, the community that's playing on that server gets to vote in an official poll whether they are ready or want the next expansion opened up.
That's cool.
Like in chronological order, right? So
right.
I don't know what the first expansion for EverQuest was. This is back in 19 whenever.
Right. So if the majority of them said, okay, we're kind of at max level now, we're ready for it to begin, then they can kind of come out with a new one.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Exactly. So like if you got enough votes, Sony would set a date and say, okay, well next week, this expansion is going to become available, and everybody will have all of the things that they can do in that expansion. So, I know that there are progression servers that have been running for a number of years now, and Sony's constantly opening up new ones. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. Sony's released a whole bunch of different servers with different rule sets now. They've got one for like specifically for people that love to raid. They've got one that's
like role playing ones,
less hardcore. Yeah, role playing servers. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy because then you get to like, with doing it that way with the rolling out the progression, you get to relive that hype of like, the new expansion dropping like all over again, like you did back in the day, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, that stuff's coming out next week. I can't wait to get my new zone or my new skill or ability or whatever, right?
Oh yeah. And EverQuest, a lot of times it was like new zone, a couple of new dungeons, and a couple of new worlds.
Right.
And man, I remember sitting there in EverQuest just waiting hours for a boss to spawn. Like, you want to talk about hardcore gaming?
Yeah.
That was old school EverQuest. Like, not EverQuest 2, although they had some of that. But EverQuest 1, oh my god. Like, it was well, at the time it was not like any other game so it was, pretty groundbreaking for its time.
Now, what do you mean, like waiting for a boss just because it would take so long to spawn, or because people are killing it, or?
Well, there might be. I mean, every boss was a little bit different, but certain bosses might only spawn under certain conditions. Like
right.
Okay. There were certain bosses that would clear that would spawn only if you cleared the entire zone of every other monster.
Right. The mobs first.
There might be one that only spawns like twice a day, real time. There might be one that spawns at a specific time of day in game, so like under a full moon.
Yeah.
You know? So like, but full moon in EverQuest, it would be like every 30 days or so in game time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would be sitting there waiting, and then everybody else is sitting there waiting for the boss to spawn once people learned about it.
Right.
And you know, only one person is going to get the drop off of that.
Oh, they don't have mob tagging, which they do these days, right?
Right. So yeah, it was rough.
I know. WoW didn't have that back in the day either. So like when you were all, so it would be brutal because when the new expansion would drop, and you would be like out questing, and there'd be so many people populating your area because of it's such a popular game.
Yep.
That you go do a quest, and it's like there's a carrot on the ground, and like 50 other people are trying to click on this carrot, or kill those mobs that you're trying to kill. But these days, it's like as long as you get one hit on something, you get the treasure, you get the loot.
Yeah, you get that.
So it's cool. So you're running along, and somebody else is killing something. You just throw like a spell or a frost bolt over in that direction, tag a whole bunch of shit, and then just walk your way through and just pick up all the loot once the people are done killing it.
Right.
So it's really helped for like quest or zones that are overpopulated or the beginning of expansions. That really kind of helps things. Or rare mobs too, right? Big thing in WoW.
Still doesn't help when you have to kill 10 rats, but the rats have been extinct for the last 8 hours because of the overpopulation. But I mean that's a new expansion rush is what that is.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if that's there's any way to fix that, but yeah, everybody gets really excited about an expansion. They go rush into the new zones. And everything dies, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts to clear out, 2 or 3 days later. Not a big deal. But
I think they're all pretty good at those, knowing how to handle that shit now. Anyways,
they're getting there. Yeah, they're definitely a lot better than they used to be. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So what else have we got going on this week, man?
I don't know, man. So you've been playing Dragon's Dogma on stream?
Oh yeah. So, I mean, I was playing Outward last week.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I'll definitely be back in there. But that game takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
you
for sure.
Literally have to hoof it from one side of the map to the other.
I jumped in your stream the other day, and I'm like, oh, he's playing Outward again. And then I looked at the title. I'm like, oh, it's Dragon's Dogma. I'm like, for a second, I thought, oh, it's not a backpack he's wearing. That's a big shield.
Right. So I was doing my reading all the news and everything, the different game releases and all that. And a couple weeks ago, Dragon's Dogma released on Switch, which got me looking at two things. I'm looking at the Switch for one, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Dragon's Dogma. That game was awesome when I played it several years ago. I never finished it. One of those. But I remember that when I did play it, and I didn't get very far, I loved the game. I just didn't have time to continue in it. This is before I was streaming and had set times during the day.
And what was that out for before? PS3?
It originally came out on the PS3, and they've ported it to the PC. I'm not sure if they've got it on PS4 now, and now it's on the Switch as well. So it's on a number of different platforms. Oh, right. I think Xbox. I think it's on the Xbox. So this game is unique. It's an RPG. A lot of people will say that it's kind of like Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will say
kind of looks like that. Has that vibe.
It definitely has a Dark Souls vibe to it. Although I would say that the storyline that the game is trying to tell is much more clear.
Right.
And it's called Dragon's Dogma because at the very beginning of the game, the first thing that happens to your character is that he gets his heart ripped out by a dragon, and eaten. So, yeah, that's the opening scene. Nice. That's nice. Yeah, and it's this huge badass dragon too. Like he's not a pushover. He's like Smaug from the Hobbit. He's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So this dragon does not give a shit about anybody. He comes down, he takes your heart, and he leaves. And then you start hearing voices from this dragon saying, "Okay, well, if you want to challenge me, pick up arms and come find me." Mm-hmm. So that's the overarching goal of this game is to challenge the dragon. I have no idea where the dragon is. I have absolutely no idea where the dragon is. The character, because of his condition, I guess heartless, is now known as a warrior of legend called the Arisen, which is spoken of in texts throughout the world, but it's been like an age or an era or an epoch or whatever you want to call it, like since the last Arisen has occurred, since they've seen this dragon. But because of the dragons coming, all of these monsters now have sort of all these monsters already existed in the world, but they were in very confined spaces, right? Like the tops of mountains, deep in the woods where nobody lived. They weren't usually a problem, but because the dragon came out, it's caused all of these monsters to sort of come back into the inhabited places of the world. So, and when I say monsters, there's everything from like a tiny little orc or goblin guy that is pretty much, fodder, to a chimera, which is like a lion,
three-headed,
plus a goat, plus a snake as a tail. There's griffins, there's hydras, there's
like pretty much evil unleashed.
There's all of these huge monsters that you can fight, and the unique thing is they all have their own specific weaknesses. Like if you're obviously if you're fighting a cyclops, you shoot it with an arrow in the eye, right? You go for the eye. But you'll find them just roaming the world. You may end up, and they're bosses. I mean, they're boss fights, but you might just run up on one because it lives in this area or it's patrolling this area.
Yeah.
You can climb up on them, which is really interesting. Like you can jump onto one of them and climb up its back.
So a lot of like Shadow of the Colossus type stuff.
Very Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay, cool.
Yep, absolutely. One of the things I found interesting was that like if you're fighting a harpy, which is like a woman hawk thing, they will swoop down and they will grab you and they will take off. So they will drag you into the sky and then just drop you.
You've been playing video games for a long time. When somebody can say the word harpy and your mind automatically thinks like some type of bird girl creature.
Right.
It's like,
right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's all these things out of like Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can just be running around the world and a griffin will fly over and see you and then swoop down and start fighting you. So like you never know, you're never really safe. Even though sometimes you feel like you are. There's a day-night cycle. Everything gets very very much more difficult at night. Nighttime is very dark and scary. New things happen at night. I don't know. There's a little bit of crafting because you can combine some materials.
I thought you said nude things happen at night.
New things like
new, new, not nude.
Oh no. New.
That's a different game.
Different game. Yeah, different game. Very different game. Yeah, there are new things that happen at night.
Right.
You might be running along a road that's fine during the day, but at night filled with zombies and cultists or something.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it's very cool, and your choices in the game absolutely have an effect on the environment. If you're on an escort quest, for instance, and you're escorting a main NPC from point A to point B, and this is not like these are not like crappy escort quests. Like these people will fight alongside you.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
If they're able to, and you can take them any way you want to get to your objective at any time of day. But if they die, they are dead. They are
can't
dead.
Go back and restart. Nothing.
You could load a previous save.
Right, but no. Other than that, no. Done.
Other than that, no. There's no like resurrection spells in the game.
Gotcha.
There's none of that. There is one thing that the Arisen can use called a wake stone, but that's mainly because of his condition, and wake stones are exceedingly rare. Fast travel as well is kind of there's not a ton of fast travel, although it does exist in this game. You can go to specific points in the environment that have what they call fairy stones or fairy stone rings, and you can sort of just port to those areas. But if you want to go to someplace specific, you can carry a fairy stone with you, which is actually really heavy. So, well, encumbrance is a big deal in the game too. You don't want to be too slow.
How come you said that?
Well, it is. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It just affects, how quickly you can run and stuff. It's not going to stop you from doing anything. I mean, you can pick up people and carry them around if you want to.
I dread that word.
It's not as bad
as you make it seem.
No. I think some games just do it. Like, I think they're too heavy on the encumbrance, anyways.
Yeah,
but
some games just hate me for that.
Yeah, some games are really bad about it. This one's not that bad to watch how much crap you're picking up in the field. Right. But yeah, if you know you're going on a long trip, you would probably want to put down a fairy stone somewhere, and then port back to town, maybe sleep through the night, and then port back to that fairy stone, pick it back up, and keep going. That kind of thing. It's
so you can use it over and over again?
Yeah. Okay, well, you used to not be able to, but now it's Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. So Dark Arisen is sort of like I don't know if it's like a remaster,
like an enhanced version
like
or something like.
Yeah, it's like an enhanced edition. And that's what you would be buying today anyways. You're not going to buy the original Dragon's Dogma and then buy all the DLC that came with it. This is like
one's got it all. Right, gotcha.
Yep. That's cool. And there is so there's the main campaign, and then there's something else called Bitter Black Isle. Bitter Black Isle, I'm going to get to, I'm hoping in a couple of days. But it's high level content. When I say high level, I mean like super high level. Like you will go into this place and things work differently. Like when you're on the mainland, you'll kill a goblin, and the goblin dies, and his body will be there and then despawn after a little while.
Right.
At Bitter Black Isle, you'll go to this area and you'll kill that goblin, but the goblin's corpse will remain. And as you keep going through this area and killing more and more goblins, the bodies sort of pile up, and then the big monsters come in to sort of feed on those. Right. So then you start killing those bigger monsters, maybe like big dire wolves or something at first, and you'll kill those. And then the bigger monsters start coming in.
It's like a pyramid scheme.
It's like a pyramid scheme, but Bitter Black Isle, if you think about it, it's probably a super, super long and difficult dungeon at the end of the game. It's like very end game content, and you can, basically, you go and kill Satan or Satan. They call him in the game. It's pretty obvious. He even looks kind of like a demon. So, but it's supposedly like some of the hardest fights in the game are there.
Okay.
I've seen some gameplay on Bitter Black Isle. It looks like a ton of fun, but some of the boss fights that I've seen take 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Oh yeah, they're serious. If you're super, super high level and you've got your party together pretty good, then you can probably take these things on, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But yeah, for a normal player that's not min-maxing, 30, 45 minutes. Which brings me, I don't want to belabor it, but another thing that makes Dragon's Dogma very unique is the companion system. They're called pawns. The AI work that they did on the pawns is awesome. It's like these are actually helpful companions. They learn. Well, you make one companion that travels with you all the time. Like it's your faithful companion person that's always with you. And then you can hire up to 2 more pawns. The pawns that you hire have been made by other players. So it's like there's like this sort of off desynchronous multiplayer kind of going on. So like my pawn is out there having adventures with somebody else, and their pawns are 2 more pawns are with me hanging out.
That 2-timing hussy.
What?
I said that 2-timing red-headed hussy.
I know, right?
I seen your pawn. She was smoking.
Well, so she's out there doing that, and I've got 2 other pawns, but they bring with them their own knowledge, their own experience. Like if I can get pawns that have been through quests that I have not, right? So when I discover those quests, and there's a real sense of discovery in this game. When I discover those quests and I take it on and I pursue it, those pawns will actually give me helpful advice. Like, hey, we should probably go west. There's somebody you want to speak to in this area of the city, or something like that. Like they will point you in the right direction. It's not spoilery, but they will help. Like, I may not have ever fought an ogre before, but one of my pawns may have.
Right.
So that pawn will say, "Oh, it's weak to fire," or something like that, and then start using fire skills against that thing.
I'm picturing your pawn going out to a dungeon and your pawn being like, don't worry about it, Jove. I did this dungeon already, bud. We could just move on to the next one.
I
cleared it out already. We're good.
Yeah, no, that's what they'll say. If they know that something valuable is near, like, they'll start telling you. Like, they'll give you hints. Like, hey, I think there's useful resources nearby. We should look.
That's pretty cool.
It's interesting. Like, they learn the areas that they've been to, and they sort of take after you after a while. Like, so I run around and I blow up. Like, I'll break every barrel, every box. Right. And now my pawn is doing that too. So I'll go into somebody's house. Next thing I'm talking to the person. Next thing I hear is like shit's crashing.
Your pawn's trashing the place.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you get in trouble for that, like in Skyrim? Or,
No.
Okay.
No.
Can you imagine if your companion in Skyrim started doing that stuff? And, like, you're just chilling out, being, like, a good-natured person, and you look behind you, you're talking to the barkeep, and all of a sudden your companion behind you is, like, trashing boxes and stealing cheese and, like, causing shit behind you. Like, what the fuck are you doing back there?
Like,
Nothing?
What the hell? What is she doing? I don't know her.
Getting a bounty on you, and you're just sitting there trying to be civil.
I don't know who that is.
That'd be awesome if that feature was over in Skyrim.
Following me around. Right. So yeah, Dragon's Dogma. I was playing it on easy for a day or two, and then I'm like, well, not easy, but like normal mode.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this just it's not. I wasn't feeling it because I wanted a little bit of. I wanted a challenge.
Right.
So I turned on hard mode, and shit is hard. The first time I set foot outside the starting village on hard mode, I walked out and I got one shot by a goblin that I had beat handily a couple of days before, and I'm like, what the okay, I see how this is gonna go. But as I've leveled up, the game has gotten a lot easier.
Right.
I will say. So it just sort of teaches you to actually pay attention.
So you have to play a lot more defensive now than I guess that you're playing on hard mode.
Yeah, but I also picked a class that he turns his defense into more of an offense. Okay. Right? So, like, I have a Mystic Knight, or that's what I'm concentrating on right now. You can change classes at any point. Mm-hmm. It's very cool. But I'm concentrating on Mystic Knight right now. So, like, my shield, he actually enchants his shield, and if somebody hits it, like, they'll burst into flames or something.
Oh, yeah, cool. So you play like a sword and board type style, like sword and shield. Right now I am, yeah. Cool. Right now I am. And I'll probably switch over to mage a little bit later, maybe, because I want to get some of the skills from the mage class, and I want to bring them back to Mystic Knight. Oh, yeah. So that's really cool. I like that system, being able to switch classes on the fly. Well, you can't switch on the fly. You have to do it at an inn. But it's very but you're able to switch like during a playthrough and not have to start a new character. That's pretty cool. Exactly. And so as you level up, like, there's levels and then there's vocation levels, like character levels and vocation levels. So as you as a character level up, whatever class you are will sort of dictate like how much new hit points and stamina you have. Right. But yeah, it's and you can pick skills. You can earn and purchase skills for each vocation that you can actually bring over to other vocations. So you can truly make like a build that is unique to your playstyle. That's cool. Yeah, it's very, very cool. I'm enjoying the Mystic Knight. I'm really enjoying it. Kind of reminds me of like Elder Scrolls Online. You know how you could you pick a class, but then if you use a different weapon or something, you could like use like a staff, like a healing staff, and then take those healing spells and put on your bar, and then kind of switch back. It's very much like that. Yeah, it's very. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, it's very, very much like that. I mean, there's
So like the Mystic Knight is kind of like it's a mix of a mage and a fighter.
Right.
There's others like assassin and there's something else as well with like the bow and arrow, but so you can mix and match based on the type of weapon, and like you have a primary weapon and a secondary weapon.
Right.
You can mix and match some of those skills if they're appropriate for that type of weapon. You know, so yeah,
sounds cool.
It's really really cool. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying the game. It's been a ton of fun. And I've got some folks that have been coming just to watch that because they're like, it's fun though because they're watching and they've played through the game like 5 or 6 times. I can tell, but they're not saying a thing to me about what I'm about to do.
Right, they're just watching and enjoying, right?
Yeah, they're watching and enjoying, having fun with it.
So what's that enhanced version out for now?
The game, like, what's it go for?
Yeah, like you said, it was a PS3 original, right? But now they kind of released a new version of it, right?
Right. I think they may have it for PS4. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And it's definitely on PC on Steam. That's
okay.
What I'm.
And you said it was coming out for Switch, and that's the enhanced version as well.
Yes. Okay. It did come out on the Switch.
Okay, already. Okay.
It came out in late April on the Switch. And this is one of those games like when I was describing Bitter Black Isle. Like that's the kind of grind that I was looking on the Switch.
Right.
Like, pick it up, you know. Make progress on that floor a little bit, maybe explore, and then I'm gotta make a call or something.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
Put it right back down.
That's why like the Diablo on Switch seems really cool.
Yes, it does look very, very cool, and I've heard really good things about Diablo.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. What about news for this week, dude? Have we got anything big? Because I think we do.
Yeah, like other than the little bit of Mario Maker news, man, we got some crazy news going on there with, PS4, Sony, and Microsoft, Xbox have been like, throwing jabs at each other and just, not really playing nice over the past year when it comes to cross-play stuff, and kind of Sony being stubborn and holding out on a few different things, and then all of a sudden, at least to me and to seems like a bunch of other people out of the blue, back on Thursday they announced that the two are going to be like partnering up on new entertainment platforms and some type of like AI solutions and stuff.
Well, we have to be careful with this one. So when I first saw the news that Sony and Microsoft were partnering up, especially their game divisions, I'm like, what? Like these guys never play together. Like,
right.
They're super rivals, right? And if you read into it a little bit more, they have what's called a memorandum of understanding, which means they're just stating an intention. They are not legally bound to actually do any of this.
Right.
I see where they're going with it. I think it's a shot aimed at Google Stadia, to be honest.
Right.
I really do think it is, and game streaming in general, which is good and bad. I mean, games as a service is kind of cool, but at the same time it's kind of not, because it's been handled as one of those like sort of microtransaction heavy type areas,
right?
But I mean, I think that it would be great for the gaming industry if they did something like this, if they got together and did game streaming with Microsoft's Azure cloud and some of the other capabilities that Microsoft has on the processing power,
right.
And then you get Sony and their game making division. Their first party products are fantastic. You put those and start hosting them on something like Microsoft Azure or something like that. That would be awesome, and make it available to multiple platforms.
How can you imagine like 5 years from now we have like a Sony and Microsoft collaborative console?
That would be awesome. I think it would be amazing.
Be like the best of both worlds, right?
It really would be. It really would be. This is coming from a guy who's seen no reason to pick up an Xbox One at all. Well, they don't have anything on there I want to play.
Right.
That I can't play on PC or PS4.
Yeah.
Right. And their first party or their platform exclusives on the Xbox One, I just haven't been interested in. So, yeah. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see on this one. I think it's big news. I am interested to see where it goes, but it's still just a memorandum of understanding.
Right,
so
right.
It's like
just
a gentleman's agreement at this point.
But still, I mean, that's even still. I mean, that's. I mean, I don't think Sony would even go that far if they weren't willing to at least do something. I mean, because they've been pretty stubborn when it comes to playing nice with Microsoft. So.
Well, that's very true. Yeah, I think the first thing that we would see out of anything like this, any real agreement, if either company is serious about it, we'll start seeing more cross-platform content. I think that would be the first thing that we ever see out of this, which I'm very hopeful for.
Yes, please bring crossplay for Borderlands 3.
Yeah, crossplay, cross-platform. Like one of the things that's always bugged me is if I have a character on like even a free game like Warframe or Path of Exile, if I'm playing that on PS4 or I'm playing that on the PC, why is there no reason, or Rocket League, for instance,
why is there starting
no way
over?
for me, let me take my progression with me wherever I go.
I know.
I'm the same person. I've gone through all of this stuff already. Let me do this, right?
No, it's like you're buying the same game that you've bought over there, and it's like, I understand if you're making me buy it again because it's a different platform, but it's like, if I'm buying the same game twice, come on, it's like, we're both online here. It's like, why not just let me transfer over my characters?
Right. Well, I mean, but even take the purchasing out of it, right? Take Path of Exile. People spend thousands of hours. Yeah, people spend thousands of hours in Path of Exile, or Warframe, or something like that. Take those games that are essentially the same on PC and Xbox and PS4, and just let me play it wherever. And carry my progression with me. Let me take my character with me. Sometimes I don't want to be in my studio playing Warframe. I might want to be up in the front with my living room, hanging out with my wife.
Right.
So, I don't know. We're on my Switch. Let's throw Nintendo in there too.
I might want to be on my Switch in the bathroom. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let me play Warframe wherever.
Let me play wherever I want, and with that same character.
And you any news at all about Path of Exile for Switch or nothing?
I have not. Things I looked up actually. If Path of Exile was going to come to Switch, they have not mentioned any plans for it. I don't think. Yeah,
that would be nice if they did. But they have Diablo, so I mean, but still, it'd be nice to have a free one on there.
I think it would be pretty cool. Like Diablo 3 is a perfect fit on the Switch, in my opinion. It's one of those grindy games where you just pick up and play for 10 minutes, and then between breaks or whatever it is, whatever your situation is, on a commute, to work, on the subway or on the bus, whatever it is, that would be awesome.
Now, like a lot of those Switch games, like when you're on a phone, you download games at home on your phone, and then when you go outside, let's say you don't have a data, or you turn your data off, and then like half the games don't work because they require a connection. How's that for Switch stuff?
I haven't seen too many games that really require data.
Yeah.
Right. Like Diablo 3 on the Switch, you don't have to be connected, I don't think.
Nintendo's not big on their online situation to begin with, so.
No, they're not. They've never been an innovator.
So I could see it not being too big of an issue to have most of their games offline anyways, right? So.
Right. On the Switch, like if you're going to do chat or something, you actually have to, if you're going to do it through the game, you have to do it through your phone.
Yeah.
There's a phone app for the voice
you
chat.
have to hold your Switch in one hand, hold your phone in the other hand, plug your headphones into your phone to do the voice chat.
I gotta be honest. So if I'm gonna play a game where I need to be talking to people, the Switch is not where I was ever planning to go with that.
Right.
Like, no Nintendo console, actually, not right now, would I ever think that I need to talk to somebody that I'm playing online with.
But I mean, if you were joining up with a buddy, and let's say me and you wanted to play Diablo together for a little bit, it's like having to like boot up our phones and like talk to each other in there or Discord, like instead of just being able to talk through game.
Yeah, no, yes. I'm with you. Like, the Discord would probably be what.
Not a deal breaker, but just a little awkward, right?
It is very awkward. Yeah.
Or like more example, like a Call of Duty or some type of like that type of game, like Fortnite or doing squads or something, right?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, Fortnite would be one of those where you probably want to talk to someone.
Yeah,
and
so
Fortnite is on the Switch.
Right, see, so you're doing squads or something or duos, and like all of a sudden you gotta have your phone out and log into the app. It just seems like, oh come on, you guys are making innovations like everywhere else, but you're so clunky when it comes to your online presence.
Well, that's the thing is that Nintendo excels at innovation when it comes to their consoles, their form factors, their capabilities, but
online,
online,
like, what do we do?
Yeah, online is that's usually pretty bad on Nintendo. Let's be honest.
Online, what's that?
You're right.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, there were like the original DSs. I don't think they even had any wireless connectivity, did they?
Oh, I have no clue. You could be right.
I don't think that they did. I don't think they did. I think the 3DS brought like the Nintendo eStore and everything, and maybe some wireless connectivity, but there weren't that many. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not up on those things. I got my son a 3DS, but it's not one of the ones that folds, and it doesn't play like Minecraft, so it's not the newest DS, but it's not the 3DS, but it's still not the 2DS. I don't know, man. There's so many SKUs of that thing, I can't keep track.
There's a bunch, yeah. There's a bunch of them.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But Sony and Microsoft teaming up, it's
interesting.
Definitely interesting. It's one to watch. The next couple of months will tell us if
they're for sure.
On anything.
Hey, I mean, I can't wait till E3. I mean, it's going to be a pretty exciting E3, I think. Even with Sony not there.
Yeah, no, I think E3 is gonna be in it. It's gonna be an interesting year at E3.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Microsoft to probably announce, that they've been working on something big in the console realm. It's time for them to refresh.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of first party games. We'll see, and maybe they'll announce something along with the Sony, on the Sony agreement. Something that they've been working on or something they intend to work on.
Can you imagine if Microsoft has a press conference? We all know Sony's not. And if, like, the head guy from Sony comes out on the Microsoft stage? When you shit your... I know, but can you imagine when you not the internet shit their heads? Shit their beds if, like,
shit their heads.
Yeah.
No, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Maybe.
That would be crazy. I don't think it'll happen, but it could. It could. It could. I think anything real that we start seeing out of this will probably come in the form of some news article or rumor somewhere where somebody picked up on something that had been filed at the patent office.
Yeah, exactly. Info coming out from paperwork or from meetings or something.
Right.
Not announcements. Not yet.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, in the next couple of years could be interesting if that partnership actually comes to fruition. Or it could just fizzle out tomorrow. We never know.
Yeah, we went our separate ways. We couldn't make a deal,
Yeah. Yeah, we pissed each other off over dinner, so yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, what else we got tonight, dude?
That's it for news, man, as far as I know. What do you got? Nothing?
No, I don't think we've got much. No, I think it's been a fairly quiet week other than the Sony Microsoft announcement.
Yeah, for sure.
Still watching a little One Piece.
Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Together we will find everything that we're looking for. One Piece.
Yeah, how where are you at now?
Water 7.
Okay.
We just found out. We just watched the episode where they went through the creation and the building of the sea train, the Puffing Tom. Yeah. So that was the last episode we just watched, and that's Frankie is badass. I love Frankie.
I was gonna say, so you've met Frankie.
Yeah, we've met Frankie.
Yeah.
We know who Frankie is, or at least used to be. We don't know how he got to why he is the way he is now, but
right.
Yeah, him and Usopp were hanging out and talking about the Going Merry, and
yeah, it was a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, they were. Those are some interesting episodes. I love once again, I love the way that One Piece kind of puts the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
The first time you see, that frog in the ocean,
Yokozuna,
and he's taking on this train that shouldn't be in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay, what the frick is happening here?
Yeah.
And it ties all that stuff together, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I love that. I love that about One Piece. They just do such a good job of that.
You were so close to getting to the greatest episode ever of One Piece.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
There's a. I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a musical number coming up.
Yeah.
In one of the coming episodes, and it's going to blow your mind.
Awesome.
You're gonna know it as soon as you hear it, and it's gonna be like, it's. I can't explain it enough. You're gonna fall in love. It's so good.
Cool. Awesome.
So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll probably watch another episode. We'll probably watch quite a few episodes tomorrow. So,
as soon as you guys get caught up, then I'm gonna jump back in. I've been watching Baki on Netflix.
What is this?
So it's a Netflix original, but it's based off of an older show called Baki the Grappler, and this guy's like a martial artist, and in the old series he goes through this tournament and he wins the tournament. Spoilers. And in the new one, it's about him. He's in high school. He's like 17 or something, but he's built like a brick shithouse. He can go faster than everybody else. He's completely ripped. He's just like a tank. And this series follows like these 5 like super villains almost. They break out of jail and they all head to Tokyo, and they're all looking for like this Baki guy and like find a challenge. And this anime, like my anime knowledge is obviously not that huge, but this is like the most like violent and like gruesome like show I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Like these guys, it's all about like martial arts and stuff, but like the villain will find like one of the good guys, but they'll find them just like walking around town. But they'll be like, when they show the punches, it's like blood squirting out, the nose is breaking, guys are like chopping off like limbs, and like, oh man, it's just intense. The guys are like burning each other and just breaking limbs, and it's just, it almost makes you just look at it with one eye closed, like wincing half the time. But it's a good show. Like it's a very good show. The characters are good. The animation's very good. But it's just, the amount of like, you think a guy's like down and out, and then he comes back and like breaks the guy's fingers or something. Like it's just very, very intense. If you're into like any kind of combat sports or martial arts or even just fighting in general or action, it's really good. It's just be prepared, because it's got like a ton of violence, like tons of blood, tons of violence. But it's really good. I finished off the first season.
Have you ever watched Berserk?
I watched some of the old series, nothing new.
So there's there's an anime series based on Berserk, and I think it's summarized. I think you can find it on Netflix.
Right.
It's called Berserk. Just look for Berserk. I think it's the Golden Age, Golden Arc, or something like that.
Right.
I watched that. I watched all 3 of the movies, and it struck me kind of like how you're describing this. Like, at first it's like, okay, yeah, it's violent. It's violent, for certain. And then like somewhere in about the third movie, about halfway through, it took a turn to become one of the most disturbing things I've ever watched on my television. So
just for pure violence, or
violence and some other things that happen, like, is disturbing.
Right.
Like, it was definitely, don't watch it with your kid in the room.
Right.
But you should definitely check it out. It was good. It was good. And then there's an anime series that comes after the events of that movie that were pretty good too.
And so those are just titled Berserk as well. Like that's the new Berserk, right?
Yeah, that's the new Berserk.
Okay.
Yeah, that happens after that. And another series. This is old school. Fist of the North Star.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know it.
That dude just walks around like poking people and they blow up.
I don't know it, but my anime co-host there, Count Vamps, he told me about Fist of the North Star. And do you remember what the theme song is?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're talking about anime theme songs, and he's like, "Oh, this is like the greatest theme song ever." And he's like, "It makes me want to rip my shirt off every time I hear it." So I've never heard of the series before, so I went and checked out the theme song, and it's like the most manliest of man songs like ever, and it's like, yeah, it's really funny. So I was gonna check out the series, but I haven't yet.
They came out with a very recently, I think late 2018. They came out with a Fist of the North Star game for the PlayStation 4,
right?
But it was done by the same people that do the Yakuza series.
Oh, okay. It was like a beat 'em up, right?
Yeah, it's a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
But it's very quirky, and the way that it's portrayed is very Yakuza-ish. So if you're into those games,
right,
you'd probably like Fist of the North Star. I totally intend to pick it up and stream it one day.
Oh yeah, cool.
I'll stream a little Yakuza. So yeah, I'll give you a heads up when we jump into
cool.
that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that actually. But it's definitely on the list, the big list.
Yeah, there's also a Baki video game too, but I think it's for the PS1 or PS2.
Yeah, I'd heard of it.
I think it's a Japan only, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, I recognize the name, but I don't know where from.
It's a very like low res looking like Street Fighter clone, but
no,
very very like low res and like good crappy looking, but yeah.
Gotcha. Maybe I'll check it out one day. Still sort of concentrating on One Piece because that's the anime time with the wife, and she's still
for
loving
sure.
it. So
and plus One Piece is so awesome. So
right.
Yeah.
And probably gonna watch Evangelion again here soon. I know that's coming out on Netflix, but you sent me a link last week, so
yeah, I was gonna check it out too because I've heard a couple of people mention that too now, yourself and
you gotta
somebody
watch
else.
That,
so
man. You gotta watch it. So good.
Where do I start though? You just need to let me know where to start.
You got to start in the series. You need to. I'll send you the link.
Okay, you send me where to start and I'll check it out.
Yeah. I'll send you the order of events.
Cool. That's what I hate. Like just because the anime has been out for so long and like just even like this Baki show, like they've had. I didn't realize that it's based off of Baki the Grappler, so I'm kind of watching it now. They keep referencing this tournament. But man, everybody else that's watched the show has already seen this whole tournament play out. So,
right,
it's kind of I'm watching it now, like on the third season almost. Now it's a whole new story, but they kind of reference stuff that I should probably already know, right? So,
well, one thing you have to really watch out for in the older series is that they'll take all the manga or they'll take all of the episodes that appeared in like a season or two, and they'll squish them down into like an hour-and-a-half movie,
right?
Which doesn't do it justice. They've done that before, and you don't want to watch those.
So it's not a good way to get caught up, though, or are you just better off watching the whole?
No, you need to watch.
Okay,
you need to watch. There's a reason the artists and the writers do things in their manga, or even just the anime itself.
Yeah.
Bleach is notorious for this, right? Like there are reasons that Bleach is so long. You need to watch those episodes. Don't try to watch a summary movie. Yeah,
like I know, like if you've seen that link I sent you, if you type in One Piece, there's a bunch of One Piece movies. Where I'm like, what order does those fall in? Like, like I want to be cool to watch them after if they only cover like a certain like the East Blues part of the story, then maybe watch them once you've done that part of the story just to see how it's different in the movie. But
right, see, and that's the thing is that. I am glad East Blue got old after a while for One Piece. I would not have wanted to smush it down into like a 2-hour movie.
Right.
never would have done Zoro justice. It never would have done Nami justice, and it certainly wouldn't have done Sanji any justice. So, like, well, Nami more so than any of the others. But I mean, why would you? I mean, that's one of the watching these characters grow over the course of what now 250 some odd episodes has totally been worth it, because if I had just watched like 2 or 3 movies up to this point, I wouldn't
you don't get invested as much, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't care if one of the members of the ship left.
Yeah. Right now my heart breaks when I see like the thought of somebody leaving the crew, and it's just like, oh man, I can't stand the thought of one of those people leaving.
I know. I know. It's not the same crew at that point. Right?
Oh, so you've already seen the Usopp and Luffy fight, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, that was epic.
We saw Nico Robin doing what she's doing with CP9, so yeah, it's like those CP9 guys, they're interesting characters.
Yeah, man, it's like I love in One Piece how like every time you get to a villain, it's like you always have that first initial confrontation where you're like, there's no fucking way they're gonna beat this guy. This guy's way too powerful. There's no way in hell these guys are gonna like be able to beat them, right? It's like you always think that as soon as you see one of these guys, and then sure enough, man, they always find a way. But
and I know that they'll find a way. I'm just looking forward to figure out what's gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even at that part yet either, where they're kind of finding a way yet. So I'm still only a few ahead of you now. So
sweet. All right, man. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for the evening.
Yeah, man, that's about it for tonight, I'd say.
All right, man. Well, if you've enjoyed the Dreadcast, thank you very much for listening. You can catch Dreadnought on Twitter and Twitch at DreadnoughtX. You can always catch the Dreadcast Twitter feed itself at the Dreadcast, or we're also available on Facebook.com/the Dreadcast. You can find us pretty much anywhere podcasts are downloaded. Google, Spotify, Spreaker, any one of those will work. And of course, my name is Jovia, and you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Jovia. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Nicely done. Have a good night, everybody.